tēnā rā tātou katoa. E tikana kia tuku tēnei te mihi kia tātou ko huihui mai nei raro te maru o tēnei kaupapa. Nei rā tauranga moana, nei rā te mautere o matakana, nei rā ngaitirangi iwi mihi kaua tuana kia tātou I tēnei rā. Cheer it, if you don't talk Māori, stiff biscuits. We're here to do poems, here to talk about poetry. Before we get into it, I'll have a bit of a yarn. We're doing workshops all day with a group of young people. I managed to bribe or coerce some of them to come and share with us this afternoon in front of the assembly. So as well as me, you ain't just got to listen to me talking smack and rambling on. You get to hear some other people come up here and have a jam as well. And then you might hear some of your poetry crew too, because I stitched them up on my way past as well. Because I like stitching people up, that's how we do, okay? But in my history, I'm from Tauranga. In 2014, I won the National Spoken Word Poetry Slam. Yeah, it's cool as here, but my mates didn't care at all. After winning the National Poetry Slam, I was lucky enough to get invited to this place called Kahu. Does anyone know where that is? Nah, yeah. It's the most northern Pacific island. It's the furthest away Pacific island from us here in New Zealand. And when I got there, I got to enter the World Pacific Poetry Slam. And I was lucky enough to win the World Pacific Poetry Slam too. Again, thank you, because my mates still don't care. And after that, I was lucky enough to be able to do poetry as a job. So people ring me and they tell me, can you come do some poems? Can you come talk some smack? And I'm also lucky in the sense that before I got into poetry, I was real into battle rap. And when I was into battle rap, I ended up the New Zealand champion of the Battle for Supremacy. And that was when all the freestylers from the country will come together and we'll just have battles and see who won. And that was a real cool moment. But the thing that I didn't like was the goal of being in battles was for me to be sad to people, or be rats to people. And it's alright in some situations, but that's not who I am. I enjoy building people up. I enjoy making people feel strong. And so I was like, I want to do something else. And then I seen these fellas doing poems, and I was like, nah, come on. But then I listened, and I thought, their poems have all the same stuff as we have in battles. They got rhymes, they got punchlines, they got metaphors, they got rhythm, they got flow, they got delivery. All the same things we use in battle rap, except instead of making someone feel crap, the goal of the poem was to build something or make something strong or to connect with something. And that I always resonated with that, especially coming from the place I'm from. Like where I'm from, Matakana Island, everyone just talks Māori, but it's like this deep ass Māori, like instead of just saying, sure, come in the door, they'll say, as the birds from the heavens fly beneath them. And it always made it easier for me to be able to kick rhymes and do poems and stuff, because I come from a place where people would just talk like that. And so I'm lucky enough, I get to travel around. And even one more thing before I get into some poems, I know I'm talking heaps of smack. One more thing is, I'm lucky enough that when students find it hard to learn stuff, I found out when I was young that if I couldn't learn something that was in a book, I could just write it into a rap or a poem, and then I'll just start bobbing my head to the beat. Next minute, I know all of the stuff that's in the book. And then I'd learn it like that. And I'd talk to my mum about it, and my mum would tell me stuff like, our tupuna used to make things like moteatea or pātere or waiata to do the exact same thing. They made songs, they had rhythm, they had flow, they had beautiful language, and the purpose of those songs were to capture information and be able to pass them on to the future generations without needing a pen or paper, or without needing to have to read it. A way that you're able to pass information down that's just as valuable and just as accurate, but in a different way. And that's always something I enjoyed. And so I'm going to start off by doing my first poem about matariki. This poem, I'm lucky enough to have been able to travel all around the country and meet all these different people who talk about matariki and know about matariki. And lots of them argue with each other, talking about, nah bro, your matariki's wrong. This is what matariki actually is. And then the other caller was like, no, kei te he tera, this is what matariki is. And I don't like getting involved in their arguments, so I listen to all of their different kōrero, and I take the stuff that makes the most sense from me, and I put it together to make a story that all of them can see some of their whakaaro in or some of their understanding in. And so this is my understanding of matariki, based on the things I've learned and have been lucky enough to see as I travelled around Aotearoa. My mouth's big enough, eh? You can hear me just like this? Safe. Matariki, the eyes of a god. Mata Ariki, out of rage about his parents' separation, the god of wind himself, Tāwhiri, Mātia, tore out his own eyes and threw them through the clouds into the night forever, to shimmer and shine in the realm of his father, Ranginui, god of the skies. We could learn from Matariki. In the modern day context, from this there are so many concepts we could learn. For instance, the separation of a mother and a father will always be a harsh and sharp turn for a waka being sailed along this journey of life by a child to verse. We must ensure that we tend to their hurt before they are given the opportunity to hurt themselves first, because eventually they will. Matari, a time to reminisce on those that have been lost to the goddess of death, who was once our symbol of life, ironic all and all, hine ahuone, now and forevermore to be remembered as the goddess who crushed Maui hine nui te po. Matariki are the stars that rise on the tail of the Milky Way stream. Where I'm from, that means it's time for our muscles to be milky and our kina to be creamy, so the barbecue's blazing and the pots are steaming. Perfect time together for whānau hui and meetings. You see, Shakespeare said a rose by any other name smells just as sweet. But Matariki, seen through the eyes of any other people, is just as much of a magnificent sight for one's eyes to see. Whether called Pleiades, whether called the Sailing Sisters or Makahiki, whether called Puanga, whether called Subaru or Matariki, regardless. It can't be coincidental. There's so many cultures around this world gather to observe these stars as they burn bright. Keep that in mind when I tell you the Japanese call this constellation Subaru, which translates to unite, which is the exact reason we gather beneath those stars of the night. To unite beneath Matariki. Sure.
Tupuna of the land, from mine to yours, they all died fighting a war, but what for? Segregation upon our nation, with nothing but discrimination. They told us we don't know navigation, but that's all just misinformation. We've come to an agreement, but our land they have taken. They say all our people are happy, but they're very mistaken. We just want to live alone. We don't need any company. Your kind shouldn't exist. Go tell that to my auntie. Because last time I checked, you came to our country. Racism isn't it. Brutality needs to stop. Our skin color is different. Doesn't mean you're on top.
You're the man. Now, I know how hard this is. You can stand behind me and hold the microphone if you want. Oh, yep, I'll hold it. Ow! Don't look! Oh, yeah. One more round of applause! I'll start. The stars in the sky helping to guide you home.
Accompanying you in your travels so that you're never alone. They light up the darkness like a flare in the night, a blanket of your ancestors' love holding you tight. With the crashing of waves and the howling of wind, you're on your way now. The journey begins. Though treacherous and long, tranquility awaits in the arms of your people because greatness is your fate.
They're not too willing to share and just egging them on just enough so they come up and they share. Can we have one more round of applause for the Racism is a terrifying entity that can be called a beast.
It should either be used as motivation for fear or motivation for those who are afraid to stand up for real justice. Racism's arms caress those who society has depicted to be more or less the scum. Racism has no eyes. It steals sight from the fortunate and makes them see lies about the truth that is equality. It blows out the fact that we are all the same. Mā whero, mā whango, ka kahu ki te ira kotahi, which essentially means we are all the same. Racism gives power to the fortunate and gives little to nothing to those who are working hard to prove the injustices of the system, and that they are not another statistic in society. If I were to imagine what racism looks like as a person, he or she would be made of pure gold with a perfect body, and would only see his people as equal, and will base his or her soul around vanity.
To the stage and sharing with your school. Tika ana kia mihi atu e kia koe raro e tērā ahuatanga. One more round of applause for the boys. We got one more from the workshop. Skylar, please make her way up. Skylar's the one that just doesn't listen in the workshop and does her own thing because she's got mad skills like that. And we appreciate that. And so, would you like me to hold your microphone or you hold it? Okay. One more getter in the zone. Mihi mai ki aia.
Hine here here. She is a heartless creature. Her eyes are the headlights of a cop car. She watches only the guilty by her measures. Her mouth is the door to courtrooms and prisons. She will feast on only those that she identifies as criminals. Her voice is the news. She wants to help by manipulation, so the world knows the truth. Her hands are segregation. She defies the action of unity, so she keeps the order of separation. Her neck is the system, the jury, the judge, the courtroom. Her neck is the bridge between her mouth and her stomach. As for her stomach is the jail cell. All the bacteria in her stomach munch on her victims. She believes her life is the best life, effortless, long-lasting. Her one and only weakness has made her deteriorate. Her only murderer is justice.
If you can think of a word, chuck your hand up. I'll kick some rhymes. Yeah, boy.
Orange.
See, the breather thought it would be a challenge if he gave me the word orange, but I dropped the word orange up and pop it to college. I dropped the word orange, I cook it like porridge. I dropped the word orange, then I clean it like polish. You got me another one. Ooh, see, the sister said justice, that's the justice system. But we can see that injustice in the justice system, that's injustice. I couldn't touch the system, I want to spontaneously combust the system. Yeah, See, the bro said family in my language, that's whānau. Family stay connected in my heart, my ngākau. The same people who are around me, that help me stand strong. The exact reason I'm able to stand all day long. See, what's with the gossiping and politics? The bro said it like I need to acknowledge it, so let's get it. I'm about to armament. Oh, I don't really care about the people in Parliament. I'm from a place where my hapu rules under the marae. We don't do things half by kāpai. You got a raru, go onto the marae ātea. There you can battle it out, your whakawātea. One more. Ever? Oh, yeah. See. He's all just did one about discrimination, eh? Sweet. Let me talk about discrimination. The bro already hit us with the mass misinformation, so let me explain what it's like to be a native in the nation condemned to damnation. So I'm gonna walk around with my dark skin. You can see me, I get arrested just for walking past apartments, because that's the way I look and the police see me like that, and I'll get arrested if I choose to fight back. So they don't let me do that, they don't let me stand up. I look like a criminal if I choose to man up. You wanna call it the justice system? I don't wanna hear it. Man, I don't run to call the police, I run to call my parents. Do you know what word is?
Yes.
Yeah. No. Can you quickly tell us what word is, my man?
It's a competition for high school students to do poetry and share their stories.
Yeah, and you guys got a team on word. Pucky flat. Obviously, you all know Flo. Got to bust us a poem. One more round of applause. Who made it
This poem's called Bathroom Break. Just a bit of a trigger warning. It's about hate crimes, and I say some bad words, but you know, it's a good message, I guess. You know when you forget toilet paper while you're just sitting there cursing at the shit in the toilet bowl? I wish I remembered a safety helmet. Their merciless voices, spike-studded baseball bats beating at the inside of my skull. I was waiting for an ambulance to show up. I wish I remembered a padlock. Strong enough to hold the door shut while threatening hands reached under my skin, felt like turning inside out. My heart was damn near beating me out of my own senses. I was waiting for the showdown. I wish I remembered a water bottle. Maybe I could have excused the tears on the floor. I should have apologized for staying hydrated that day, and instead chugged back my fear in painful gulps. I was waiting for it all to end. Pissing my pants, literally what a story would be to tell a 12-year-old kid running home from the school bathroom. What would I tell him? Congratulate him, encourage him, warn him, scowl at him, tell him it was his fault, mistake, error, misleading. The signs outside have always been misleading. Hands shaking, eyes stinging, legs failing, I tripped out for a second. Wondering whether I prefer to be tripping up in my 12-year-old piss-soaked shoes on the run of my life home, or shivering in a stall crying for home in what felt like the weight of my life. Misleading, the signs outside have always been misleading. Wearing pants or a dress could lead me into one or the other, but didn't guarantee that I'd pass enough to be welcome in either. I used to think it was because one was for men and the other for women, but bladder infection taught me it was because I wasn't fit to be in either. You told me I was better fit for the disabled toilet. My ability to prove to you I have a dick means that I'm not a butch lesbian, means I can be part of the boys and piss while talking about how much of a pussy I was for crying. An Instagram video told me you could be shot dead for using the wrong bathroom for being transgender. After being asked, hey, can you give me some of that ass? Hunted, murdered, but also fetishized, Alexa Luciano was 27. I wish I'd remembered a weapon that day, louder than the guns that have silenced one too many of my trans and gender diverse family lives. Of the least of things, using a toilet and being alive I thought was a right is our wrong. Fault, mistake, error, misleading. The signs outside have always been misleading. Even if they change the signs, I wouldn't feel like there was a place where I can go for business. My business is never my business. It's yours to throw down the door to tell me I'm not welcome here. I forgot a bathroom can house no bathroom break for me. Even if I just need to take a fucking shit, you make TikToks and check your hair in the mirror while a 14-year-old keeps one shaking foot on the door lock and one hand on the 911 speed dial. You laugh and giggle while my people water their own burial sites with tears under a gravestone with the wrong name and pronouns. You forgot toilet paper. We forgot a safety helmet, a padlock, a water bottle, a weapon. We forgot that we shouldn't even exist. No, you are wrong. It is not our fault, our mistake. It is your error. For thinking we'll remain scared and timid, hiding in the shadows of our own shame. It is not our shame, but your miseducation, misunderstanding. We exist. Our cries could, should, will be heard, and they will silence your merciless voices. Your uneducated remarks, your ignorant laughter. You will hear our cries less as a timid call for sympathy, and instead a blaring siren demanding for respect. Demanding more than a minimum of a bathroom break, demanding our right to live, demanding our right to be human. Thank you.
I pick up my pen.
Oh, I don't need that.
I pick up my pen in the blind attempt of sorry, the bird is waving to me from my phone. In the blind attempt of trying to write one of these rhyming remedies, like my ancestors were, forced to pick up a weapon and go to war to smite their enemy back then. It was about whose weapon and war's swifter these days. It's about who has the language ability to bullet points and talk swifter. We've come from our own economic system of take, utu and ea, to living with loans on our homes and no ways to clear us down. We've come from ngā kite wānanga o tāne, to an education from a wānanga only being acknowledged as qualifications from university. From separate iwi with our own cultures to ngai Māori slowly, but surely forced to merge, losing our unique diversity. We've come from a time where Papa Tuahanuku was cherished to now, when Papa and our surrounding environment is blatantly neglected. We threw the arena in the arena of Tangaroa and watched as he was poisonously infected. We drew holes deep into our mother. We chopped down our brother's forest and still we have the nerve to wonder why Rua Umoko is under this earth quaking on us. We were once of this land, physical and spiritual natives. Now we are just on this land. All day hooked on Facebook and YouTube, consumed digital natives. Must I remind you that we were the first generation to be plagued with technologies of this sort? As we bit the bad fruits of blackberries, bushes and apples, products were being ripped off. We try to buy things with the cash they provide us within this economic system and get forced to put it on HP or they'll get cross. We've come from tikanga and kawa, to etiquette and morality, from fishing trips to fish and chips and bacons, from living as a collective in park to an urbanized individualistic society, from having rangatiratanga to having to constantly remind this government of te tiriti or white and on that. This world of pen and paper witchcraft and trickery is heavy to toll. Sign this, read that, learn this, write that, forget what you know, because if it's not in writing, then it's senseless you trying to claim fact. Like how Captain Cook recorded in his book that he discovered New Zealand way back, but anyone who knows the real history of Aotearoa knows based on the name that only someone from the era of Kupe can claim that. But what's a culture of oral traditions to a culture that refuses to listen? A people who have eyes but can't use them to see past what's written, a nation that lacks vision. Generations that have been educated to lack wisdom. Read this, learn that, forget what you know, keep your opinions to a minimum because people don't want to know. Go to class, make sure you pass, believe there's truth in what you're told. We've come from having mana to chasing a rep and a swag, from haka to splitting rats, from being warriors to getting patched in gangs and becoming soldiers. You tell me, who's benefited from this land that our ancestors once called home? Because I can tell you, it's not those who share my blood and bone. Check that out. Victoria. Victoria. Applause for Victoria. One more round of applause.
I just want to talk real quick. Road the Frontline is an awesome opportunity, and I'm so blessed to be in this team this year. We entered, and the heats were a month ago, I think, and we made it through. And so our semi-finals are in 2 weeks. If you guys want more information, check our Instagram page, and we'll put up some more if you want to come and support us. Sweet. This is a confession. I confess my obsession for you. You love to send bundles of smiles my way in class. I always make sure to water them with a teary-eyed stare, knowing that these aren't our anniversary flowers, but the flowers you get to say, I hope you feel better soon. My relationship ended a week ago. Perhaps I'm moving on too fast. You know what's really fast? My heart racing into the room. Your presence fills up the room with warmth, and I want to feel warmth elsewhere within my heart, of course. My heart wants to feel full again, like the classrooms we share. Please help me feel full again. I'm hungry. My heart is hungry too. Hungry for a delicious snack and you're looking tasty. Let me have a bite. I'm weird, but you make my weird feel like a specialty. Make it something worthwhile. Am I worth your while? What does that even mean? Alright, let's rehearse what I'm going to say to you. Your footsteps. Hi! No, that was way too loud. Good morning! No. What's up? Hello. My hellos are more of a sigh now. As I say both syllables, my heart feels so tired. You make me so goddamn tired, tired of feeling two emotions for you, tired of running the race for your attention when you don't even realize I'm competing. We sit next to each other 3 periods a day. Why do we still feel 3 kilometers apart? Your image makes me high. Every look, every stare, every cute dance you do to Harry Styles, I feel the watermelon sugar high, low. The low frequencies of our radio song suffocates the silence in the room. But that's when you give me your attention. We sing beautiful harmonies when we're in sync, but when you're riding another girl's waves, we sound off tune. It's more of a high-low effect, so every single time I say hello, I promise to say it like that. Hello, like we're on a seesaw. You weigh less than me, but why am I the only one touching the clouds? What am I even doing? Trying to fight for your glance with my lance wide out, ready to slash any female's neck that comes near you. Wait, that's a little too far. I mean, I'll push them away. Nicely. It's just too hard. My mind is constantly on you. The way you look at me, friends don't look at friends that way. The way you talk to me, nobody makes me feel that way. We're a love story that will never rewrite itself. I have to admit, this is more than just a confession. This is more than just words in a poem. This is vulnerability. This is my step outside of the closet. I officially confess my obsession for you, her, you, bye! I'm bisexual.
Stop pointing at you, cuz! Yeah, you can't just be... I bet you listen to instrumentals right now, here. Oh, the breeder with the hat! Ah, that's you, cuz. Yeah. Ah, look, your mate's clapping your upper. Yep. Anybody?
Hey, yo, Rachel, I didn't see you on stage.
Usually someone would get up. I'm pretty sure. I can see people there too. Who? Where? Yeah. Yep. That's what it's about. Have a jam. You have the microphone? Of course. One more round of applause for this.
This thing on? Okay, yeah, this is gonna be hard.
Don't swear.
I'll try not to. Don't really know what to talk about with this. Give me a topic.
Conspiracy! Smoke!
was that Lorenzo?
Trees!
Trees!
Trees! Trees! Trees!
Alright, listen up! He's got us.
I'm gonna tell you a little story. Way back when I got into some shit. So like this. Thought, hey, I got some options. Found some bliss. But I took that shot and I still missed. Found some pills. Took the hit. Wasn't for pleasure, it was for pain. Just a miss. I lost it all. Yeah, I lost it all. Just like my thought process. See, I've gone through some discrimination. A place where I can't find my inspiration. Fire, I spit. Call that shit incineration. I need a slow story. Someone give me a Bible. See, Papa, that's my place. That's my home. Where I come from, that's where the light shone. I don't know the words, so I'm just gonna hand the mic over and leave. Cause everybody in the free wall free, put your everybody in the free. Round of applause to Papa Doc. Alright, that's 387. I'm gonna finish at 310. Rap or free or rap or poem? Freestyle or poem? Hang on, I'll do a rap I did about discrimination and then give me some words, okay?
Yeah.
Day after day, I gotta deal with the knowledge and pressure of not having to be good as the Kahu but better. Cause history's passages created a narrative that exists where darker is lesser. Even a horrible call a dark chap blackie, and you can't blame them for the education that they're lacking. It's the same reason we call our whānau from across the moana nui akiwa. Stuff like fob and kuku. To catch the Kahu that I'm speaking, Polynesian, Melanesian barriers, the colonizers' names for those regions, our languages, too close to not be what family is. You take the language in, we can't understand the ish. They took the language in and commenced with killing the culture just like a pathogen. They say the system's not inherently racist. Yet we inherited hatred that descended from somebody's ancestors' fear of our greatness. So worried with telling us that we were warriors, hoping we forgot we were also philosophers. 200 years later, racists still robbing us, and we're the only one watching them locking up the native populace. Are you sure? Yeah. See, ka kōrero ka tōru maki I te reo Māori. Is anybody understanding me? Ka kore pia, but still in English I'll say Anthony. Ka huria ki tōna ingoa, that's how it is, ka tū hei toa. Stand like a solid warrior up on the land. Someone else give me a word so I can freestyle it, understand? See, I was driving on my car and I got a flat. Yes. I had a spare, I guess. Cheesy pun. The streets. See, the system Mother wants me to get in the street, so I'm gonna talk about things that might happen in the streets. Let me skip back from the industry and get your eyes on this and witness me. I'm talking about the place I grew. When you walk down the road and you might be only 12, but you gotta rumble an adult, bro. Just because he thinks that you're walking with your chest out and you're acting like you're hard and you think you're the best out. But where I'm from, you're not allowed to be the man. They don't let you grow up if that's your plan. If you have aims to be high up in the sky, they're gonna beat you down every single time. So you gotta rise above it. Don't walk in the streets. You gotta walk where you be and rise and achieve. Aim for the stars, reach them and grab them. Don't let anybody stomp on or crush your passions. Far up. All of the words you're throwing me sound like a headshot. I can hear rewind, south end, the word dreadlocks. All of them coming at me, making my head stop. It doesn't really matter, I'ma carry on. It's all in the name of hip hop. So let's talk about South and Modi, that's Tonga. That's what it was called by Aotearoa Puna. The same place that you go if you're heading that away. Yeah, you go south if you're having a fatter day. Bad day, off to the bakery for a cheap pie. That's how it is where I'm from, we like to eat kai. Bad with the words, we carry on the corner with the bros, and you know how it's on, bro. What was the other thing? It was the dreadlocks. The same thing that Bob Marley's head got. The same thing that's twisted just like these. Dreadlocks connect me to the land and the sea. So when I'm walking, you watch as they connected, touch on the ground, and it's shocking like it's electric. I gain all the knowledge that come from my ancestors. Yo, I'm out of words and the bell's about to ring, so let's finish.